Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to Circuit Lab Physics and Chemistry video tutorial for high school students. In this episode, we discuss one application, the concept of the magnetic force on a moving charged particle in a magnetic field. The principle behind the use of a mass spectrometer is the gist of this lesson. So stick around till the end of this video. Watch and learn. The question is, you send a beam of oxygen ions through a mass spectrometer like the one shown in the attached figure. The nuclei emerge from the velocity selector at a speed 2.00 raised to the fourth power meters per second and encounter a magnetic field of magnitude B prime equals 0.0500 Tesla. All the ions have charge positive 1.60 raised to the negative 19 coulombs, but some are isotope of oxygen-16, whose mass is 2.66 raised to the negative 26 kilogram, and some are isotope of oxygen-18, whose mass is 2.99 times 10 to the negative 26 kilogram. Find the radius of the semicircular path followed by letter A, the oxygen-16 ions, and letter B, the oxygen-18 ions. Typically, mass spectrometers can be used to identify unknown compounds by molecular mass determination, and also to determine structure and chemical properties of molecules. Its basic principle is that it generates multiple ions from the sample under investigation. It then separates them according to their specific mass to charge ratio, and then records the relative abundance of each type of ion. As shown in the figure, one of the earliest modified version of a mass spectrometer is the so-called Bainbridge's mass spectrometer. So this utilizes a velocity selector to produce particles with uniform speed. Positive ions from a source pass through the slits S1 and S2, forming a narrow beam. Then the ions pass through a velocity selector with cross-electric and magnetic fields. A velocity selector selects only the particles with speed v equal to the ratio capital E over capital B, or the electric field divided by the magnetic field. All right? And these particles remain undeflected while inside the velocity selector. So as the selected ions emerge from the velocity selector, there is an external magnetic field, right? Uh, in the diagram, the magnetic field is directed towards the reader. Notice the dot symbol to represent the direction of the external magnetic field, right? So this magnetic field separates the particles by mass, all right? The greater particle or the greater the particle's mass, the larger is the region of the magnetic field B prime. And particles with greater mass, all right, will travel in paths with larger radius. So in this problem, the nuclei emerge from the velocity selector at a speed v naught equal to 2.00 raised to the fourth power meters per second, and they encounter a magnetic field, all right, whose magnitude is equal to 0.0500 Tesla. And as mentioned earlier, the direction is towards the reader. So all the ions have the same charge equal to Q positive 1.60 raised to the negative 19 coulomb. So when they encounter this magnetic field, all right, they actually are deflected, all right, because of the magnetic force that is produced by the magnetic field on the moving charges, all right. So although all the ions have the same charge, all right, but they have different masses, and the ions are actually uh, made up of isotope 16 with a mass equal to 2.66 raised to the negative 26 kilogram. And the other ions are that of oxygen 18 isotope, whose mass M2 equals 2.99 raised to the negative 26 kilogram. And in this problem, we are assuming that each of these isotopes has lost one electron. Thus, all right, a net charge of positive 1.60 raised to the 19 coulombs. Now, upon exit from the velocity selector, these ions move perpendicular to the external magnetic field B prime, all right? And we are asked to find the radius capital R, all right? Capital R1 is the radius of the semicircular path followed by the oxygen 16 ions, while R2 is the radius of the semicircular path taken by the isotope oxygen 18 ions, right? So, um, for our computations, we will be basing the concept that we are going to apply, okay, is the fact that there is a magnetic force, right, that is exerted by the magnetic field on the moving ions, right? So F sub m here is the magnetic force that each ion experiences, and it's equal to the product of the magnetic field B prime times the charge Q of the ions multiplied by their velocity. But in this formula, capital B, small q, and V, right, as well as the force Fm are treated as scalar. In other words, these are the magnitude of the magnetic field, the velocity V, and the magnetic force F. All right? And since the only force that we are considering here acting on the ions is the magnetic force itself, all right? And the fact that this magnetic force, all right, produced by the magnetic field, based on our illustration, is directed to the left, all right? So the supposedly straight path of the ions, all right, as they emerges from the velocity selector, all right, will be deflected to the left. And this can be verified by using the right hand, or actually by using the right hand slap rule. All right. The right hand slap rule is a technique in determining the direction of the magnetic force. All right. So, for example, since the magnetic field is directed towards the reader and the velocity of the ions is downward, all right, we can determine the direction of the magnetic force, all right, by assigning the right hand thumb, right? The right hand thumb represents the velocity of the ions, right? And the other four fingers extended and forming a 90-degree angle with the velocity vector represent the magnetic field. So when you try to point the four fingers representing the magnetic field towards you, right? You being the reader, right? While the magnetic or the velocity of the ions will be pointing downward, all right? You will notice that the palm of your right hand will be facing to the left, right? So this is how we verify that indeed the magnetic force exerted on the ion, take note the ions are positively charged, all right? With the magnetic field directed into the reader, with your right hand slap rule, we see that the palm of your right hand will be facing to the left. As you slap, all right, the movement of your right hand is such that the palm will be moving towards the left. So we say that the magnetic force on the ions is directed to the left, all right? Now, uh, the semicircular path suggests that uh, the tendency for the ions is to move in a circular path. That's why we are being asked to determine the radius of the semicircular path taken by each uh, ion. All right. Hence, we can equate this magnetic force to what we call the centripetal force formula. That is, the centripetal force is equal to mv squared over r, where of course r is the radius of the circular path. All right. So equating the product of BQV to mv squared over r, we can easily isolate the big R and come up with the working formula for determining the radius of the semicircular path of each ion. And that is big R equals mb over qb prime, or the mass of the ion times the magnitude of its velocity v, and then divided by the product of the charge of the ion and the magnetic field b prime. All right, so moving on to our computation for question letter A, finding the value of the radius of the semicircular path, all right, followed by uh, the oxygen 16 isotope or ions. That is R1 equals mass M1 times the speed V naught divided by the charge Q times the magnetic field B prime. So substituting, we get 2.66 raised to the negative 26 kilogram, and that is multiplied by the value of V naught, which is 2.00 raised to the fourth power meters per second, all over the product of the charge Q, which is 1.60 raised to the negative 19 coulomb, and the value of the magnetic field B prime, 0.0500 Tesla. All right? So when we simplify, all right, the product of the quantities in the numerator will be 5.32 raised to the negative 22 kilogram meter per second. And then the result of multiplying the quantities in the denominator will be 0.08 raised to the negative 19 Coulomb Tesla. All right? So when you do our math, we get the value of R sub 1. All right? R sub 1, or the radius of the semicircular path followed by the isotope oxygen-16 ion, equal to 6.65 centimeters. Likewise, for question letter B, finding the radius of the semicircular path followed by the isotope oxygen-18 ions, all right, using the same formula, all right, and substituting where the mass of this oxygen-18 isotope ion is 2.99 raised to the negative 26 kilogram. Then multiplied by V naught, 2.00 raised to the fourth power meter per second, all over the product of the charge, 1.60 raised to the negative 19 coulomb, and the magnetic field B prime, 0.0500 Tesla. So again, simplifying, we get this 5.98 raised to the negative 22 kilogram meter per second. All right. That is the result of multiplying the quantities in the numerator. And then the product of the quantities in the denominator, which is 0.08 raised to the negative 19 Coulomb Tesla. And finally, doing our math, we arrive at the value of R2, 7.48 centimeters. All right, which is the radius of the semicircular path followed by the oxygen 18 isotope ions. So, as illustrated in the diagram earlier, the radius R2, all right, of the ion that has greater mass is, of course, greater. All right. And that is the end of our video tutorial. So, till the next episode, mabuhay, Masya Allah. Thank you very much for your indulgence. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alhamdulillah.